then there was a crazy story. So when I went for my exam, there are students, obviously you interact with them and stuff. So there was one guy, so I just met him, we said hi, hello, and then he was also studying in the queue outside the exam center. So he asked me, okay, which attempt? I'm like, it's my first navigation attempt and I'm prepared, I think I'll clear. Then he just started laughing because it was his...
What's up? Welcome back to India's #1 pilot podcast. It's been a while, but it's always awesome to see all your faces here. Thank you for watching, viewing, and subscribing. If you aren't already, please do so. It's been busy schedules for each of us, but we somehow managed to find time. Okay. Now, today's topic is going to be DGCA exams and its effect on day-to-day flying. Apart from that, at CNTAA, what we do in order for students to achieve such great results at CNTAA. Repeatedly, we have been getting 90+% in each of navigation, meteorology, air regulations, technical general, and all the subjects that there are. So, Captain Neha, Captain Pankaj, they look after training 100%. OnDemand is completely looked after by Captain Neha. Offline is looked after by Captain Pankaj and Captain Neha. We should call Captain Pankaj someday here to see everyone and have a good podcast there. Okay, so about DGCA exams. Okay, you are the teacher, so why don't you start? Which would be the first subject that you would like to explain everybody? Because people watching this may be in 11th, 12th right now and might be looking to get into aviation after finishing their 12th.
Correct.
So what would be significant subject that you would consider?
So I have heard from a lot of students that they find air navigation to be the most challenging to understand. So air navigation is the one where many concepts are involved into it. So air navigation involves the general navigation, the radio aids and flight instruments, as well as mass and balance, flight planning, and aircraft performance. So first of all, navigation is something where how an airplane flies from one place to another. So in doing that, there are many things involved, like understanding the distances from place of departure to place of destination, what route you should be flying, what will help you to fly that route, that is covered in the radio aids, what all instruments you should be using in order to fly the plane safely, in order to have clearance from the obstacles, that is mountains or terrain around. What is the mass and balance, like how you should be knowing that the airplane weight is within limits and the CG is within limits, and you are calculating the fuel correctly, how much amount of fuel is required to be carried, how much amount of weight can be carried for that particular flight. All those things are covered in this, as well as airplane performance, how much takeoff distance will be required for a given departure from that particular airport, how much is the landing distance, how much is the fuel required, what is the endurance. All these things are explained in aircraft performance, and this is done with the practical perspective and showing them how this is done actually. So by doing that, students understand these concepts really well, and it helps them achieve those great results. So that is what we really aim at CNTAA.
Absolutely. So how I see it is general navigation would be a syllabus that teaches students about the parts of conventional ways of navigation, which would be dead reckoning or those kinds, right? So what is dead reckoning? So what is heading? What is track made good? magnetic heading, then there are QDM, QDRs, right? QUJ,
Yes.
QTEs. So what is the difference between a magnetic track and true heading, or true, what is true track, right? Yeah. So all of those things. Now, when a student understands those, then the student has an understanding, okay, how this is helpful in actual flying, right? Then we have what air navigation has another flight instruments, right?
Mhm.
What would be flight instruments for? Like that is navigation with respect to instruments, right? So altimeter would give the altitude, that is vertical navigation. Lateral navigation would be your DGI, compass. These would be modes of laterally managing your navigation. All of these
So
things. Yeah.
DGI, that's a heading indicator. So
Yeah.
then compass is also used
Yeah.
primarily to indicate the heading of the airplane.
Absolutely. Yeah. Then radio aids. What would you have about radio aids?
So radio aids is basically when we fly an aircraft. So how do we fly an aircraft? To navigate an aircraft, we use certain radio aids. We have a VOR, we have wireless systems, we have GPS.
Absolutely.
So all those systems, how do they work? And let's say if you're flying an aircraft, if there is an error, and let's say if you're flying over a VOR, there's a cone of confusion. So how do you interpret that? Let's say if there's an ambiguity when you're flying over the VOR, if you have the knowledge that, okay, there's a cone of confusion, which is an error of the VOR, you will be relaxed in the flight. And once you are on the other side of the VOR, then again, the bearing and everything is displayed on the instrument.
Absolutely.
And let's say at that point, if someone doesn't know that, okay, what is this happening? Is this an error, or is my instrument malfunctioning? Then that's where the knowledge comes to play. So navigation is a vast subject. It has 6 parts. Okay. So now when a student starts to study for navigation, initially it's very easy. You do 1 chapter at a time. 1 week you do like 3-4 chapters. Then 2 weeks is like 10-15 chapters. And then at the end of 2 to 3 months, when the syllabus is completed, there's a lot of things to remember at once, and everything is interlinked. So at that point of time, it becomes very difficult, because let's say whatever you studied in chapter 1, if a student has not revised that, he'll be like, okay, now I have to start again.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's where the revision comes into play. So when I was studying for my DGCA exams from CNTAA, I used to revise every day, like 2 hours separately I kept for revision, because without that I knew, like, whatever I study in a day without revision, I wouldn't be moving forward, because now the formulas and everything which we study in each and every chapter, some or the other way it is linked to the next chapter as well. Okay. So I think once you have studied the subject, once you know the concept, revision becomes very important.
Correct.
And okay, speaking of revisions, because of the on-demand modules, it becomes easier to revise, right? Like, is the lecture that you can go back to anything that needs to be revised, anything that someone is having difficulty remembering, you can just jump to that lesson, get to know the whole lesson again, and that is really helpful at CNTAA.
Yes, absolutely. And it's not possible for an instructor to teach everything all over again, right, from beginning. So, and you cleared it in the first attempt.
Yes.
Yeah, first attempt in 30 days.
Yes.
So what I feel is, let's say now there's an ambiguity among students, okay, the aspiring pilots, whether they should join a ground school or no. Okay, so many of the students, they tell me, okay, I have heard from so and so that it's very easy, you can prepare it by yourself. So I tell them, okay, yes, it is possible to prepare for the DGCA exams by yourself. But the only thing you'll be losing is time.
Absolutely.
Okay? Because let's say you are a newbie, you will research everything by yourself. You will go through the DGCA syllabus and stuff. You will purchase the books. Now you don't know what is the pattern, what type of questions to expect. So let's say if you prepared well and if you go for the first attempt and you clear it, that's completely fine. Okay, that's a good job, I would say. But then, like say 90-95% of students are not able to do that, and then there's a cool off period of around 40 to 42
Absolutely.
days. So
Absolutely.
that time is lost. So after that, once they've seen the paper, they again try to study as per that pattern. So in that process, let's say you take 3 to 4 months of time to prepare for navigation, then 2 months of cool off period, that is 6 months, then again you go for the navigation paper. So 6 to 8 months of your time is
Goes
gone.
waste.
Yes. So either you pay by time or you
Yeah.
pay by money. And
Absolutely.
as a pilot, the percentage of the ground school fees is very less as compared to
it's
flying. Okay?
insignificant.
And student have to understand that it is not a cost which is for the pilot training, it's an investment.
Yeah.
Because if you invest right now in DGCA exams, if your concepts and everything are clear, then once you get your CPL, there's something called as ATPL exam. So you don't have to go back and study again. You just have to revise and then just appear for the paper.
Correct. Absolutely. And even though it is said 42 days of cooling period, but the application date of the next attempt has already gets over before 42 days.
Okay.
So effectively, a student can appear for the third attempt.
Right.
So they lose about 3 months.
Okay.
It's not just 42 days. It's about 3 months because the result has to be published for the previous attempt and the application date of the next attempt gets over before the 42 days are, cooling period gets over. So because of that, it gets really extended. So it is important, at CNTAA, I tell students, I ensure, if you're prepared, then go for the exam, okay? And we make sure that they are prepared for that exam.
Yeah, the final test is taken and everything. Yeah.
Once all the test papers are solved and they're ready, then they apply for the exam and then they clear it. At CNTAA, there are many quizzes which are based on individual chapter quizzes as well as towards the end full syllabus quizzes. So individual chapter quizzes are those which have about 100 to 150 questions based on every chapter.
Okay.
So after learning that concept in the chapter, when they solve so many questions, they can practice all types of questions on that chapter. So no concept is left unturned.
And these questions are exactly what were asked in DGCA exams in previous
earlier.
attempt.
Yes. So and as well as students need not refer to any other book because all these questions are already there in it and they are compiled from the published,
DGCA syllabus.
DGCA syllabus. So because of that, once all these individual chapter quizzes are over, then there is full syllabus quizzes also there towards the end, which will help them practice and replicate or take like mock test of DGCA exam, as well as previously asked questions from the previous attempts in the DGCA
latest
exam
attempts,
are also there, which students have informed us. So students can go through them and they know what are the types of questions asked. So once they solve that and see that, then they are absolutely ready. They can just time themselves 3 hours and solve those 100 questions. And that way, there are like about 8 to 10 papers. So once they practice that in 3 hours in last few days or before the exam, then they are fully ready. Then they really don't need to do absolutely anything else.
Likeliness of scoring really good marks is very
much
high.
heightened. So when they go for the exam and when those students follow this kind of pattern, they absolutely have no problem in clearing the exam in the first attempt. So
Absolutely.
that's how we do train the students. If one of the student or some students, if in case they are not prepared, I tell them, you need to finish this in the sequence that I advise you to do. And as you have not done, please take your time, take this 1 month, do it properly, and then go for the exam. So that you won't waste your 3 months.
Yeah.
You can
Yes.
just work more on yourself for this month. If you have any doubts, we are there to solve. We have a group where, we do solve the
DGCA is not passed by chance for sure.
Yeah, correct.
It's never passed
Correct,
by
correct.
chance.
Correct.
That does not mean that it could not be passed by self-studying, but self-studying is a much longer path. Like Chintan said, it's a much longer path. You pay with time, or you take guidance for it, and guidance from someone who has worked in an airline, who works in an airline, knows how the application of that knowledge actually works. It is, I think, very important for the person guiding the students to have some experience in a capacity of a real pilot.
In commercial airlines.
Yeah, a real pilot, and you all have Captain Neha. She's a captain, not just a pilot.
Yes, and let's say students who have just cleared their 12th, they are very excited to appear for DGCA exams. So
Correct.
let's say even if they have just completed the syllabus but they have not revised it, they think that okay, they'll clear. But then when Captain Neha sees their result of the mock test, if it's below whatever percent, 70-80%, then she lets them know, okay, don't go for this attempt, otherwise you might not be able to clear it.
Absolutely.
And that's where the difference in mentorship comes, because that will save around 2 to 3 months. 2 to 3 months is like 90 days, and in aviation each and every day counts.
Correct.
Right now when we see, it's like a golden period of aviation.
It is.
Correct.
It is going on, like let's say uptrends is the past. After COVID, the recovery has been way better.
Aviation has not
Yes.
been this aggressive for last 10-15 years, I
Correct.
think so, at
Absolutely.
least. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that 90 days, some or the other way, will help the student to make into the airline. So let's say if 90 days is saved, that person starts their training 90 days earlier than intended to do it, and gets a CPL 90 days before the intended time. Okay. And then when the vacancy come out, directly apply for it and just clear it and get into the
Correct,
airline.
correct,
And
correct.
with that said, as the aviation industry is expanding, it doesn't mean that there's no competition. You'll once you clear DGCA exams, once you get your CPL, you'll be in the airline. No, there are people who are in the same place as you, are preparing for the airline interviews, are getting the CPL.
Correct.
So you have to be the best, and the best way to start is with proper DGCA knowledge or proper DGCA ground school.
Correct. Absolutely.
It is absolutely. So there is a demand for pilots, but there is a demand for hardworking, talented, and committed pilots. Not someone who is not focused. No,
Correct.
airlines aren't looking for that. Airlines are looking for someone who is focused, who is committed, who is knowledgeable, who is skilled. That person is very likely to get recruited in today's date.
Correct.
Now, as we were speaking about, see, this is a kind of wider short picture of the whole thing. If gaining the right knowledge and gaining the CPL 3 months, 6 months earlier, that means you get to work in aviation 3 to 6 months more. Everyone's gonna retire by 65. Okay. 6 months more at the age of 65, salary is what? Your salary would be at the age of 65. Okay. So 6 months of salary. Okay. So use each time as if you're losing on salary of a captain, not just 3 months, because the time that a pilot could work for is limited. It's just not forever. A pilot cannot work forever.
Plus, if somebody just tries to do, certain question bank, maybe one odd attempt, you may get questions from a particular book or whatever, but it doesn't happen every time. And it's important to understand the concept before you go for the DGCA exam. And if maybe that student clears by doing few question bank or whatever, and when it comes to airline exam, that time that person cannot get away with doing the question bank.
Interview
that time
as
it is
well.
important to know the concept for the written exam as well as for the interview. So might as well invest in your
Absolutely.
time, as well in a good ground class where you can get right amount of knowledge, where your concepts are resolved and concepts are cleared at that point itself, rather than keeping it pending till the time you have an airline exam, which is the important phase of your pilot career.
Absolutely.
Yes, and only clearing DGCA exams and only getting a CPL won't land anyone to get an airline job. So there are certain characteristic traits of a pilot which the airline looks for. So let's say communication is one of the most important thing. So to be fluent in English, to speak confidently, to be expressive of yourself, what do you think? If you disagree on something, you let that other person know that you are not agreeing with so and so things, and you back it up by a reason. So at CNTA, the mode of teaching is English. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
So
yes,
every student, whatever is taught is in English. So that helps them to develop the sense of speaking English, listening to English, understanding English, because most of them don't communicate in English language most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so that at an early stage is a good thing according to me, because I have done it from CNT and everything was in English. Okay, and then as we have discussed with Captain Pankaj, okay, the students get to ask questions now and there. So if someone is, let's say, not speaking or not comfortable in speaking, we definitely put them in an uncomfortable situation so that they open up. So once they do it repetitively, let's say 2, 3, 4 times, they become confident in speaking, and that's what is required. So apart from the ground school, okay, apart from the DGCA exams, we also want everyone to be a part of an airline.
Absolutely.
So that's our main goal. So DGCA exams is there, okay, we will help them. But each of our student, we want to see them in the airline.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's like we see students joining CNTA, and then we meet them after they have passed in 3 to 4 months. There is a transformation, a significant transformation. The person used to not speak much is like very hesitant to speak English or communicate, and then you meet them in 3 to 4 months. They're done with. They're like, now free to talk to. Okay,
Yes.
this is what it is. This is how it was. Thank you for the experience and all of those things. That's it. Okay, yes, CNTA is great, awesome, without a doubt. We have certain eligibility criteria. It's not like, there would be an eligibility criteria that the candidate must meet. Okay, one of which would be basic understanding of English. It is not like we are not English classes. Okay, please do not take it like that. Okay, we are not. A basic understanding of English is required, without which it is not possible for us to take admission for that particular student. It's not anything personal. Okay, not knowing English is not wrong, definitely not wrong, but the point is aviation demands it. Okay, if we do not keep that as that is one of the eligibility criteria, there would be the medical fitness, then another would be, there are a list of criteria that our team always makes sure that anyone who is enrolling into CNTA meets that criteria. Okay, now even hypothetically, if some training institute takes admission for a student who is not having understanding of English at all, okay, maybe somehow manages to do the classes, because the classes themselves are teaching in different languages, local languages. That's okay. But what will happen to that student when that student sits in front of the airline interview jury? When there is a panel who is asking questions in English, expecting answers in English, at that moment, all of us do CPL, spend this money, put these efforts, put those time, everything, in order to ultimately get to an airline. Correct?
Yes.
Now that involves understanding, speaking English at the base level. It's not like one has to have has to be a Shakespeare in order to become a pilot and know English to that level. No, but just a basic understanding of English. That is definitely required for this. So if someone is not meeting that criteria for admission into CNTA, work on the English, take English classes, take communication classes, improve yourself in that area. And then, yes, we'd be more than happy to welcome you on board CNTA.
Watch English movies.
Yeah, sure. That is one way to do
Read
it.
newspaper.
At the same time, watching movies, in my view, watching movies helps, but that improves listening skills, understanding skills. But if someone has to develop their speaking in English, then either watch movie and repeat after each dialogue that the characters are saying. If you can roll your tongue according to that, you're good. Okay, if that is not helping, then deliberately start thinking in English, because we think in some language, right? And when we think, we are prepared to throw that sentence out. We are prepared to deliver that sentence. Our thinking is kind of complex. We put together thoughts, but it's not vague. We put it in a sentence, we articulate it in a certain way, and then we are able to speak it. So thinking in English would be one. After thinking, then with your friends with whom you speak in local language, start speaking another language. Start speaking in English. That would be one way. See, these are just tips and tricks and tactics that may help you. Okay, if it is a problem. If it is not a problem, great. Okay, yeah, that's about English. Okay, guys. Now, next parts would be regulations, technical general. Then second would be technical general would be second biggest.
Yes. So in air navigation, to go tell you in depth, the general navigation covers like what are the distances, what are the change in bearings, change in track that you have to follow while going from place A to place B, plus CPPNR, like what is critical point of no return. So all those things are explained in the YouTube videos, but right now is not I cannot explain all of it in detail at this point here. I'll just brief you about the topic. I mean, if you want, I can. It's not,
the point about it is like
this will never end.
We can go on for 300 hours of training to 400 hours of
400
training.
hours of training. So
that CNTAA consists of.
Right. So
at least 400 hours.
Yeah, right.
Yes. So initially, to begin with, which subjects should a student start with?
They should start with navigation and meteorology, because one subject is heavier, one subject is little lighter, so that goes well with preparation. And then later on, if they are doing flight training in India, then technical general and air regulation. If in case they are doing it from abroad, then only air regulation. So that way they can prepare themselves. Because now exams are conducted every month. So meteorology syllabus, if you do it properly, I mean, that's what I advise CNTAA students as they enroll with us, that start meteorology navigation to start with, and meteorology gets over in 2 months. So they can appear for MET as they get their computer number. And yes, we'll talk about computer number in a while. And then after navigation, preparation gets over in approximately 3 months. So after that, after MET, they can appear for navigation and then air regulation. In that order, in about 4 months, they finish their preparation for and exams for these 3 subjects.
Absolutely.
If it is technical general, then yes, it will take another 2 months.
Yeah. This is for offline, okay, and even online on demand. At the same time, if someone is really committed, like Chintan was, he had computer number already, okay, then your ability to put in time and attention is how much it will take for you to pass.
Correct.
At least a month to 45 days, and then 3 months is the 2.5 to 3 months is the average period of time. But so what people do in 2.5, 3 months, Chintan did it in 1 month. So the time allocated to that was,
Yes.
you were giving
Yeah.
what, 14, 16 hours a
Yes.
day?
Yes, 12 to 14 hours
Yeah.
a day. So if I tell you my timetable during that time, so it was just studying, eating and sleeping. I used to wake up at
Yeah.
5 o'clock. Okay, everything, let's say shower and everything,
Right.
have my breakfast. Then 6 o'clock I used to sit
Right.
on the on-demand modules.
Right.
Okay, 6 to 12 I used to study for navigation.
Right.
Okay, and after that, so that includes studying as well and then solving the
Correct.
problems for the
Questions.
last 1 hour. Okay, so 5 hours of the content, like the on-demand content, the chapters and all, then 1 hour of solving problems.
Correct.
Then 1 hour break for lunch and stuff,
Yeah.
1 to 2 hours, and then 2 to 4 I used to go for metrology, and then again 1 hour break,
Yeah.
then 6 to 8, 2 to 4, and then 1 hour break. So 5 to 7 I used to go for regulations.
Absolutely.
Okay, then have again dinner, and then at night 9 to 10, 10:30 just to revise whatever I did on
Absolutely.
the same day and the
Right.
previous day. And
Right.
then after 5 to 6 days I used to revise the whole everything what I have studied in the 6 days and solve everything.
Correct.
So that was my schedule for around 25 days.
Correct.
Okay, and everything went well, and then I cleared the exam. So
Right. That is
yes.
incredible, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I finished it in 3 months. So yeah, I finished it in 3 months. I did not do it in 30 days or anything.
So it was only possible if for the on-demand module. So
Right.
let's say if I have contacted a couple of ground school as well,
Right.
like to that I want to give my attempt in a month, and do you have any crash course or do you teach me specifically? I was ready to pay. I wanted to save my time. I was ready to pay. Then I called, like you told me, okay, Captain Neha can teach you. And I was like, okay, then I'll go ahead with it.
Right.
Like I didn't mind like to join a ground school who is, because I am ready to give in my 100%. I just need guidance.
Which you
to
did.
clear it.
Yes, you did.
So that happened. And then there was a crazy story. So when I went for my exam,
Yeah.
okay, there are students, obviously you interact with them and stuff. So there was one guy, so I just met him, we said hi, hello, and then he was also studying in the queue outside the exam center. So he asked me, okay, which attempt? I'm like, it's my first navigation attempt and I'm prepared, I think I'll clear. Then he just started laughing because it was his second or third attempt. It's like, bro, it's not that easy. I'm giving it for the second or third attempt and still I'm not sure.
Right.
So I was just thinking, is it that difficult or something? So I just thought for a couple of time, I thought, okay, what if I'm not able to clear? And then I was like, I'm prepared, I will clear. So I just went in the exam and I just gave my best and I cleared. But then what that student told me, that he started laughing. So I just recollect that whatever coaching is going through, or let's say if he's doing self-studying or is taking some ground classes, so that is not adequate. He's not being guided to the fullest potential.
Correct.
Okay, to use his fullest potential. So that is why there is a gap in teaching. So that is why unnecessary, let's say 2, 3, whatever months we discuss, that is going in vain. So that should not happen to any students. If you're going for any ground school, no matter what, okay, make sure your each and every minute counts. There's no point to wait any day or any amount of month to clear the DGCA exams.
And that time there was no on-demand exam.
Yes.
There
Yeah.
used to be exams every 3 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
So each attempt used to be a precious one. You
True.
can't miss that attempt, otherwise another, you
True.
have to wait
And
for
plus,
long.
when I gave my exam, it was just after COVID. So
Yeah.
you'd never know when is the next attempt going to have,
Correct,
whether in
correct.
3 months or 6 months.
Yeah, that time there used to be a long gap between two
Yes.
attempts.
Now, from outside, it looks like, okay, 30 days, okay. But a person who's giving 12 hours a day is doing the equal work as in 30 days as a person who is giving 6 hours a day for 60 days.
Yes, makes
It's
sense.
essentially the same. Now, it is not mandatory to finish it all in 30 days or 45 days. It is like, how much is an individual's attention span? How much it is his commitment or her commitment towards it? And then what is the grasping capacity of each individual? It is different for different persons, right? It is not like necessary that in a set of 100 persons, everybody would have same grasping
Correct.
capacity, same attention span. No, it's different for different persons. So find your limit and push that limit as much as you can in your capacity. See, rather than competing with other people, okay, compete with yourself. Am I better than yesterday? Right? If I was able to focus for 3 hours straight yesterday, today let's try to do 3 hours 30 minutes. Okay, how much can I do more? Okay, can I push it to 4 hours? Can I push it to 10 hours? Can I push it to 6 hours? Because it is like when someone is preparing for DGCA exams, that is 100% of their only task. There is nothing else to do in that. So yeah, great job, man. Like
Yes.
12 hours a day, that is commendable. Okay.
Thank you.
Now
Yes, absolutely.
yeah.
And it also depends, like let's say engineers are known to like complete the syllabus in one night and stuff, right? So that also helps. Then plus then we have just completed our CPL training, so that also helps.
Absolutely.
So it's a mix of everything.
Absolutely. But speaking of which, this is only possible with on-demand. If you are a learner who prefers to have offline training, okay, in that case, the syllabus completion itself takes 3 months. So it is not possible in offline 2.5 to 3 months. It is not possible in offline training modules to be
Compress
able
it.
to be able to finish the syllabus in 30-45 days like that. Okay. But usually anyone who joins CNTAA is sometimes they do have computer number, sometimes most of the times they do not.
Yeah.
So computer number itself takes 45 days. We have a team to help you with your computer number application and everything. They make sure that your documentation is correctly applied. That is what it is. Most of the computer numbers are issued in first go. Okay. That does not mean there is a guarantee that because DGCA has a tendency to sometimes reject computer numbers for just n number of reasons, such as your signature here and your signature there does not match, computer number rejected. Now CNTA cannot do the signature for you. It's not okay. It's not something that we can do. It's you have to do that. Okay. But we make sure that your documentation is in place. We have a team to help you apply for your DGCA computer number.
Correct.
That is what it is. Yep. That's what it is. And how's life, guys? What's up? How's flying?
I was flying out of Bangalore. I miss
Flying-
flying out of Bangalore.
I mean, I've heard people saying, okay, a lot of red eyes, this, that. But I'm loving flying out of Bangalore because
What is
it's,
red eye flight? You can tell them.
Yes, red eye flight is basically if you have any flight between 12 to 6 in the night, that's called a red eye flights. And at that time, you are technically into a WCL window of circadian low.
That's
where
between 2 to 6.
2 to 6, yes. So at that time, you need to be more attentive. You need to be well rested and stuff, because that is very critical phase in which your brain tends to go wants to rest as per the circadian rhythm, right?
Bangalore is tech capital of India,
Yes.
and plus it's such a huge airport, so many base flights are there. So because of that,
Yes.
morning flights are operated. A
Morning
lot of
flights,
morning flights
yes,
are
are
operated out
there.
of Bangalore.
So
Early morning.
we get a lot of DMs like, okay, what is your schedule like? Do you have to operate like every night or day? So it's different on each day, right? So I like early morning departures, like let's say 4 or 5 a.m. So I go to sleep at around 7, 8.
Yeah.
Okay. And then wake up, and then 4 or 5 o'clock reporting, and you are back by around 12 to 3 p.m. And then you get another half of the day, like 4 to 5 hours for yourself. So that's what I love about the Bangalore base. And plus, everyone knows that the weather is one of the
amazing, beautiful,
amazing,
weather.
one of the best thing about Bangalore. Okay, and it's around 22 degrees the whole day, and then I stay and like around 1 to 1.5 hours from Bangalore. It's nearby the airport, so
Right.
it's kind of a forest So yeah, you get fresh
Yeah,
air. Yeah, you get fresh air. You require less sleep to be rested. So I'm liking
Absolutely.
it. Yes,
Right.
and there's no delays apparently. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, 2 parallel runways,
Yes.
huge airport. It'll
Mhm.
take 30 minutes to taxi though.
Yes, that is
Sometimes.
there when the one runway is not in use. So it takes that, but after that as well, there's hardly any delay.
But
5-10
one is
minutes
used
is fine.
for takeoff, one is for landing.
No,
Do they do
right
that?
now there's some construction work
Yesterday
going
it was one was for landing, one was for
Hmm.
takeoff. Niner right for landing and
on.
Niner left
Left
for takeoff.
So in between some days there are construction work going on. So only on those days there is some delay. But apart from that, it's peaceful.
Yeah, mini taxiway closures at
Yes.
Bangalore.
Close. Yeah, I
How's-
mean, the new terminal is there, so
It's
a lot of complex
massive
complex
airport,
taxi
Huge.
lanes
And there's one
many-
more terminal which is under construction.
in Bangalore.
Yes, so they are coming up with that. So that's why there are a lot of closures. But it will expand.
Yeah.
How's flying out of Mumbai now?
Mumbai is yeah, I mean it's okay, it's good, it's pretty good to be honest. This month I'm flying a little bit too much. It's what 85-90 hours this month. I'm going to Abu Dhabi now in another 3 hours. Yeah, another 3 hours
good.
and landing at midnight. Not midnight actually, early morning. Yeah, so Abu Dhabi. Yeah, flying out of Bombay is good. Now another few months I'll get to fly out of Bombay. Then let's
Yes.
see. Maybe it'll be Bangalore. No idea which one it will be. Yeah, maybe let's get Bangalore so that we get to.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how it is. Bombay is good. It's like most of those are long sectors. Few are short. Few are short, like Hirasar, Baroda, Ahmedabad, Aurangabad, Goa. Yeah, these are the
Yeah.
short ones.
So it's all mix and match. It's
Yeah.
not that every day we'll get the same
Same,
long
yeah,
sectors.
yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
It's
And
just
also-
ground time in Bombay is little bit extra.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
right.
of the congestion
Yeah,
and only
yeah.
one
Correct,
runway in
correct.
use. And
When
also
I came
yeah.
from Bangalore to Bombay, oh my God, it was such a transition with respect to traffic, air traffic, with respect to ground traffic.
everywhere.
I was terrified in the first few months because in Bangalore there were hardly any delays with respect to air traffic and ground traffic. Since I was staying in Yelahanka, barely nothing, no traffic as such, unless you stay in the city.
Yeah.
There is
We'll let you know a little bit inside airline pilots ground time and air time thing. Pilots get paid when the brakes on aircraft are released. Okay, it's like the moment aircraft starts pushing back and the aircraft comes back into the bay and sets the parking brake. This time period is
paid.
what pilots get paid for. So ground time, if ATC delays in pushing back, the pilot is not getting paid. So no pilot likes that time. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As well as if you're on ground, like you're doing your dispatch duties, okay, pre-flight work, that is also not paid.
Yeah, paid
just
as in, see, salary is
Of course,
there, which
salary.
covers for the whole
whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So,
like your duty hours versus your flight hours. But
time.
salary is in flight time only. Salary is not on duty time. Duty
given
time,
against,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
correct.
At the same time,
For
yeah,
rest
it is.
period, duty time counts.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, for rest period, yeah, it does. Absolutely, it does. At the same time, the salary covers it all. Okay, it's not like because without the ground time, it
Yeah,
won't be
we don't
possible to fly the
fly, yeah.
aircraft.
Correct,
How do you prepare the cockpit if there
Correct,
is no
correct,
ground
correct,
time?
correct. Absolutely.
Like cockpit preparation requires around 5-10 minutes for sure. 10 minutes usually. So yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, so that's a little bit inside airline pilots.
And how are layovers?
Layovers are fun,
Layovers.
but
Which
some-
was your most favorite layover so far?
so layovers where I get to meet my friends. That's why I don't go out much because already all places are covered.
Yeah.
I'm like we go to the same place. Let's say if we have a Hyderabad layover, so we have stayed in Hyderabad for like 3 months when
Yeah.
we're doing our conversion. So we explored the whole city. So now when we go, we just call up friends. Okay, who is
Yeah,
available? Let's
yeah.
meet. Let's catch up. That's it. So if you're
Sure.
going into new place, let's say I have not got let's say Varanasi layover. So there's a layover as well.
Okay.
So I might go out, see what the
Right.
places,
Right.
what are the places there
Right.
and stuff. Then apart from that, when we go for our international layovers, that's when we go out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, most of the
Where?
places, like I have been only to one place, which is Jeddah, because
Jeddah,
there's certain experience which we require to operate EDTO flights.
Right.
So there was not many options now, but now as I am over 300 now, so from next month, probably considering the Cat 2 Cat 3 situations, if there is any place, then I might get anything.
Correct.
Yeah. It's like
Great.
Hmm.
when you start flying for an airline, you're doing almost half the CPL hours in 1 month. almost not exactly 100, but almost 80, 90. Yeah,
Yes,
something
it's
like
18
that.
and
Yeah.
it depends also. So
One
now-
third of the CPL for sure.
Yes,
100%.
Yes,
You're
yes.
doing every month one third of
and
the
that
CPL.
also varies from airline to airline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's say if you're flying out of Mumbai right now, there's a lot of flying out of Mumbai.
Yeah.
So we'll
Correct.
build our quickly. Once the Navi Mumbai airport becomes operational, maybe by March or April next year,
Yeah.
then it should ease a bit. That's what I'm thinking.
Hopefully that turns
Yeah.
out to be a different base than Mumbai.
It is going to be.
Because if it becomes the same base as Mumbai, traveling from suburbs, western suburbs to like
No, it's not going to
we
be.
all three stay in Malad. Okay. And from Malad to Panvel is
More than
not
two
is two
sectors.
sectors. Okay. 2 sectors of ground time. Ground time pilots don't like, you remember? So yeah.
So there are a lot of things like that. And then again, one major doubt with aspiring pilots I have is like there's a myth that, okay, pilots don't get to spend time with their family. Okay. So as we are flying on a daily basis, you tend to come home like in a month, maybe 5 to 7 days we are out.
Yeah.
But most of the time you are with your family.
Yeah.
And airline, like let's say I moved out of Bangalore, right? So in Bangalore, if my family is not able to visit me, I take leave when I come here in Mumbai.
Correct.
Like
On
right
your
now,
off days.
yes,
Absolutely.
right now I have 1 week off, so I am in Mumbai
Correct,
with my
correct,
family.
correct,
Here
correct.
I'm here at my work
Correct.
as well.
Correct.
So once we do the podcast, I'll again go with my family and relax with them.
Right.
That's how it is. So
Correct.
it's all about how we make time,
Manage.
okay, or for what things we want to make time for. Okay,
Absolutely.
that is important. We do get time sufficient. Let's say for some events we might not get leave, but then you have to plan that in advance.
Advance.
Otherwise,
correct,
I think we get sufficient time to spend with family, friends, or things
Correct.
what we like to do.
If you plan in advance, then you can get leave. So even when I was there in Bangalore, a couple of times I used to visit Mumbai.
Yes.
Like when I have 2 days off,
Mhm.
or when I get Bombay layover, I used to swap
Yes.
Bombay for
Yes,
Bombay
yes.
layover.
If
So,
time is well managed, then I think so. I'm doing 85, 90 hours with standby pullouts this month, but you still do get time. It's not like you do not get time at all. Like people say that 90 hours done, like the person sleeps, wakes up, flies, eats and sleeps. No, it's not like that. Yeah, you do get like good.
Most of the time, it's like you fly, sleep, and this when you
have to
locked
manage
sectors
it
and the
properly.
rest is less.
Like
Yeah.
if you have, if you are flying on minimum rest, that time it is like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You cannot.
But the whole month doesn't go
the
like
whole
that.
month doesn't
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Only for certain days when
Absolutely.
it is like that. That time you don't have time to
Yeah.
step out, but you need to prioritize your rest
Absolutely.
and make sure that you're well rested before next flight.
True. Now, another point about that is alcohol. So people who drink in their off days, then that consumes a lot of time.
Yes.
Like, okay, if you prefer drinking, that is your personal choice.
There's
And,
nothing right or wrong
there's
about
nothing
it. Okay? It's a
right or
personal
wrong
choice.
about it. It's just the quality of rest is affected when if you drink, like you do yourself. Right.
Once in a while, I absolutely don't remember last when I.
She has stopped actually after motherhood.
Yeah, since
Before
pregnancy,
motherhood,
She's
before
just
motherhood,
waiting
it's been
that when do I get to
When does
over
my
a year
quarantine
that I
period
didn't
ends?
drink.
When does my quarantine period ends forever?
That too, once in a while, once in a month or so.
So that's about flying, guys. Yes, it is definitely a worth it profession. At the same time, it is not easy. There is a lot of work that is required. With time, difficulty level keeps on increasing. Okay, like DGCA, when someone prepares it for the first time, it feels like, yeah, it is a lot to study. Definitely, it is not way too complicated. At the same time, it is really vast. The depth of knowledge and the breadth of it is considerable. Then you go for flying. Now the time comes to learn skills. Few things people grasp easily, few things maybe someone has a hard time grasping and gaining that skill. Eventually you will. But every time you jump off to the next step, it gets difficult first and then it becomes easy, because it's not that the thing itself got easier, it's that you become more capable of doing that thing. Like first time we entered into that type rating simulator,
Yes.
okay, it was like, this is,
How are we gonna do this?
is this even possible for a
Yes.
human to do this? Okay, like now we do those things like pretty
Every
much
day.
every day. It's yeah, not that sentence does not come out of complacency. It definitely does not. Every day we are learning, every day every pilot is learning. At the same time, our ability to handle that aircraft a year ago, right, more than a year, what is, it's been last July, you were
Yes.
in March.
I was in March.
Yeah. And now it's significantly different, right? Like,
So that comes with experience.
Exactly.
I would say. So the more experience you become, you feel every day you are
Absolutely.
learning something.
I'm sure now with after gaining certain experience, we'll go through another challenge of, we'll give ATPL exams, then preparing for those vivas. Yeah, it won't feel like, okay, I mean, yes, because we have studied well for DGCA CPL, it'll be little bit easier now this time. But then after that at all, when we or if we do decide to, and company decides to put us through command training, that'll be another challenge. It'll be like, okay, now until now I could check whether check with captain for everything that I may have doubt about. Now when you become a captain, no, there is nobody else to check with. You are the final. So yeah, every step gets difficult first, and then you become more competent to handle that step, and then you come out on the other side more competent and more able. So just keep on putting the work is what would be my 2 cents about it. What do you think?
Absolutely. Take the guidance from the experienced ones, from whom you get inspiration and where you look yourself to be in next few years. And you will be getting the correct one at CNTAA, and I hope that will help you and to achieve your dreams.
Yes, and when you take guidance, so make sure you follow that guidance, because we are in an era where we consume a lot of things on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So at some point or the other point, you feel that, okay, this is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong. And you always feel that, okay, you are smarter than everyone else. Okay, you know this, you know that. But then when someone who has experience of 10, 15 years into teaching, and when you take that guidance seriously and follow it, your journey, okay, to the cockpit becomes shorter than what is intended to be.
Yeah.
Correct.
Absolutely. Yeah, the right guidance definitely helps a lot,
Mhm.
without a doubt, guys. Apart from that, thank you for watching, viewing, subscribing. If you are new here, I'm Nilay Thakare.
I'm Captain Neha.
I'm Winged Engineer.
Yes. And we are airline pilots, and we help students to achieve their goal of becoming a pilot. This podcast we started as an initiative to discuss about intricacies of pilot's career, to help aspiring pilots at their initial stage, right after 12th, or in their early stages of pilot career, of doing the CPL, or preparing for different kind of airlines assessments, all of those things. Pilot Podcast is a subsidiary of CNTAA. CNTAA has a training center in Mumbai. If you are looking for online training, apply online on cntaaonline.in. You can get in touch with us on 9930 300 426. One of the team CNTA's representative will be more than happy to guide you with your journey. All of that said, you need to meet the eligibility criteria, okay? And that is for your own good. And we'd love to see you on the other side, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
वहाँ पे मस्त एक रिवर भी जाती है,
हाँ,
वहाँ पे
river is there,
वॉकिंग ट्रैक,
forest
जॉगिंग
वो जो है ना
ट्रैक
वो
है, फॉरेस्ट.
ऐसे
मेरा
वो best
जो
part है.
फ्लाई वेयर आई यूज्ड टू स्टे,
उसके पीछे वो
राइट फॉरेस्ट व्यू वाज देयर.
Yeah.
Army area.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
No development.
There is
for
that
a
Air
long-
Force base
हाँ,
as well, right?
Yelahanka Air Force Base.
Yelahanka Air
So
Force
I was
Base.
like, यार क्या मस्त.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was very nice.
And Bangalore temperatures are like
20,
awesome.
19 at
19,
night.
20.
19, 18.
Yeah.
Awesome. मतलब मुझे AC लगाने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं पड़ती थी. It used to be so good. इधर बॉम्बे में you need AC.
You need everything.
Like yesterday it was like a long flight, but landed in Bangalore and it was 22 on ATIS. I was like, yeah, I need to go out for a bit. Then I just stepped out.
Bangalore is
Ah, yeah, no, where you have any Bangalore layover?
No layover in Bangalore. Yeah.
Visibility is pretty good. Plus
4K.
air is fresh.
Yeah.
It's you know, you feel like breathing that air
Yeah.
deep.
Right.
Take a deep breath.
Require less
and-
sleep as well. 6 hours and you're done.
Yeah, and you're done.
Yeah,
Seriously,
because air is
yeah,
fresh,
air is
right?
fresh. You feel fresh after waking up there.
Then-
And
Then it has that
It's really
Nandi
good.
Hills.
And these-
yeah.
And Yelahanka is not that expensive to live either,
No,
right?
it's
Yeah,
expensive.
It is?
You
Now
go-
it is the same thing.
If you go to that RMCA side, but
No,
In
this
Purva.
everywhere it's same as Malad. It's not
Okay.
that. Like I had the notion that it's not in Bangalore. It's like 2 hours away from Bangalore. So it should be cheap, but it's same as Mumbai. I think it's a
that's
bit
because
expensive.
they know
than,
pilots stay there.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
reason.
That's the reason.
Otherwise, it is not that expensive.
Right.
You know, if you're a pilot, they will quote more
Yeah.
for your house rent.
You are a big Bangalore fan, right?
Yeah. If not Bombay, I would anytime stay in Bangalore.
Then let's start a CNTA training center at Bangalore.
For that, I have to be there. Or one of us has to be there.
I'm there.
You're there for a
Yeah.
few months.
If I don't take a transfer, I'll be there.
मैं जैसे रही थी वैसे. I stayed there for like 6 years.
6 years in Bangalore.
Yeah.
Space, like the other fun.